Dear trading community, it's time for another update because a lot has happened since my last video. In yesterday's live stream, we already went through a few things. If you remember my thumbnail from last time, I said that we have this breakout here. We have a possible retest here into the Fibonacci zone. That's exactly what happened here, right? We even triggered the 0.618 and then saw a very strong rise here yesterday. But what do the trades look like right now? Of course, we'll take a look at the altcoins, we'll take a look at Bitcoin. But what else do I have for you? I've created a test with various trading bots based on the Fibonacci strategy, and I've done this both in my regular account and in the funded account. So you can see here how well this works. I'll explain all of this to you in detail, how it will work in the future and how to apply it here. 130%, 100%, 100%, 144%. Yeah, so that's what it currently looks like. It really works incredibly well. At the moment, this is still a test with very little margin, but in the future there will be the option for a signal group as well as a copy trading option where you can apply it exactly like this. And all of this is with the Fibonacci strategy, which I'm showing you here. That means for the people who say, hey, they don't want to follow everything in the videos, and I've actually received so many requests about this over a longer period of time. They'll then have the opportunity to copy all of this trading, either through signals or simply with the option to use one-click trading bots. Where will all of this take place? We'll be running the trading bots on PIONEX. Anyone who hasn't joined yet is welcome to sign up now. Just for registering and completing KYC2, you'll already get $50 in grid credits. And depending on your deposit, you can get up to $1,000 as a deposit bonus, which you can also use for a futures bot. So it's really exciting that we're doing this on PIONEX. For everyone who isn't on Bitget yet, I can only keep recommending it to you because it's my main futures trading platform. If you're already signed up and registered through my link, you can get a $200 spot grid voucher and a $200 futures position voucher, plus a 2-week VIP1 trial pass with no obligations or anything like that. So for everyone who's already signed up, go and claim it, okay? At this point, there are still 6 spots available this month. But if you're not on board yet, you can sign up in advance using the first link in the video description and then claim it afterwards. Let's move on now. Bitcoin, right? We've talked about it. So right now I'm both short and long and both are in profit. As I said, for me, I was positioned short here. I already mentioned that in the last video, but down here I opened my new long positions. That was my assumption, aiming for the next Fibonacci level so that we could get in down here and then move further up. So what happened with Bitcoin? Yeah, with the very first coin we're going through today. It was already triggered here, was in profit for a while, but yesterday with the strong dump that happened in the meantime, yes, the 0.05 entry here got stopped out, but right at the 0.618, look at how perfectly it was triggered again here and has now reached a bottom, at least a local bottom, and is currently very well in profit. This isn't just the profit from my futures position that I have open on Bitget. No, this position is also open here on PIONEX. This is exactly the one with 75 times leverage, 131% in profit. Of course, it doesn't look like much now because of the margin, but that's really just for testing purposes right now. You'll get all the information in the future on how to proceed with this. And this is the trading bot that's now also active alongside my futures position. And that's how it looks. But with Bitcoin, and I went into detail about this again in yesterday's live stream, I now see the opportunity. Let me just remove this for a moment. My next short entry will be placed up here at 0.618 at 97,220. For me, this is the next possible level where I'll go short, but not as a long-term short. The idea is really that if we get this move up here, we might see a correction here and then continue to rise afterwards. That is, if this potential bullish price action that we're building up so cleanly here actually continues. And you can see it, this is textbook price action. If this really continues, then we have a very good chance of achieving something like that. And of course, even if I'm short, that doesn't mean I'm bearish. No, not at all. I'm really just here to take advantage of the market as best I can, and in the future I'll be doing that with trading bots, but also with futures positions, just like I've done in the past. Where do I have that here? Anyone who knows my trading performance here, yes, all before the crash. Since then, I've recorded it here and kept it that way so it's marked. These are all the Fibonacci entries that I took. If a stop loss was triggered, it was very minimal, really just very small, but the profits almost always outweigh the losses. And that's what's important. Exception here, yes, there was another short here. That's when I pulled the plug. I said this last entry I had, I closed it here. Now I've entered again at an even lower point, not at 98,000, but at a very good low entry price of 87,000. And of course, that's $10,000 less, which I can already work with again. That's what things currently look like with Bitcoin. But what does it look like for the medium-term future? I've got another Fibonacci that I'm including here as well, and it looks as follows. That would be, let me just draw this in quickly. I just made a mistake here on the chart. So from this high to this low, I see the possibility that we could get another bigger rejection at this 0.5 or 0.618 level before we might see higher prices. If that doesn't happen, we would continue the overall bearish price action. And for this reason, I'm also positioned short here at this 0.5 and 0.618. Just so I can show this again briefly, if I move this to the side here, what else would fit in really well here? I'll just quickly set this up again here, yes, from this high to this low. If we now use the Fibonacci extension, and I can only recommend everyone to check out my playlist. I'll be happy to show you that again. Learn trading step by step to becoming a professional trader. I show all of that in detail there. If I now apply this here and see a possible target level for Bitcoin from these bullish breakouts, we can see it could be between the 1.414 Fibonacci and the 2.0 Fibonacci. That means exactly in the range where I would be willing to go short again, right? And that's exactly what we have here. This is the possible target zone where my short positions are also waiting at the same time, because what has happened so far? At this point, we still haven't reached the short target level. That could still happen. I know nobody wants to hear it, but of course we have to keep that in mind. It could very well be that we go down further here, because at this point we've just tested the 1.414 Fibonacci level. That means if we now get another retest within this overall bearish structure that we still have, it could be that we move down. Accordingly, don't be permanently bullish or permanently bearish, but rather try to take advantage of every possible small movement in the market. Then we also have Ethereum. With Ethereum, I actually got stopped out here. This is now my long entry, which is currently in very good profit. This is the long-term Fibonacci that I drew in. It held up very well here at 0.618. Here too, there has been very good trading performance in the past. Of course, there was a small stop loss, but that's part of it. It's really not that bad. Overall in profit. And at this point, if we look at the smaller time frames, I talked about this in yesterday's live session, and in the last video I published, I analyzed it in detail again. This looks very confusing right now. I'm just going to quickly remove the larger Fibonacci entry level here because I went short here based on the Fibonacci level. The next short is also waiting at 3,257 US dollars. But I said, since we have bullish price action here and a breakout, which is also very clearly visible, that we didn't make a lower low, but then made a new higher high and now a lower high. And I was prepared for this price zone to continue moving higher. What I didn't do here, why didn't I do that? I traded this 0.5 level. I told you this in the last video, because I meant that with this high here, we still hadn't had a bullish breakout to the upside. But the second one was interesting. For this reason, I had the option to say, hey, I can also use the lower Fibonacci level, so really from this low to this high, and then I would rather ask, where is my next first Fibonacci level to continue moving up from there? And what does it look like right now? We actually reached what I was talking about in the last video. And let's adjust that again here in detail. But also let's fine-tune the highs here again. Then you'll see right away what I mean here. We actually have the overlap, which was very close between the 0.5 entry from the large Fibonacci and the 0.618 from the small Fibonacci. That was so interesting to me that I decided to skip this 0.5 entry here. I'm only taking this lower entry here at the 0.618, and that one was triggered exactly. This is exactly the Ethereum long bot that I created here, which is down here and is now 144% in profit. So this also looks very clean here. Of course, with Ethereum, we can also now target various price levels also using the Fibonacci extension. If we say, okay, that was our breakout, then we haven't made a lower low anymore. And price zones that I see in the near to mid-term future are the 3,400 to 3,700, which we could be heading towards if we get in. Here too, you can clearly see it in this rejection zone, which could reach us here. Here we also have a strong fair value gap, which would be in here. And accordingly, that's also super interesting for me if these two short positions maybe play out a bit with some bullish price action. Here too, I see the possibility, just like earlier with Bitcoin, that we could continue here, create further bullish price action, and somehow keep moving higher until we reach this target level, unless there's an extreme pump. But then we also have the possibility here that I say, I'll use this at a later point, we can take a look at it from this high, because here too the Fibonacci level was barely triggered, but I want to see this as the next opportunity. If we include this here, we see that the target level 1809 matches perfectly with the 0.681 level. That means for me, this would definitely be another possible short position, which could be in a broader rejection so that it might go further down. Otherwise, let's quickly run through the other trades in a fast forward, but they were also nicely triggered. But I haven't closed them in the short yet. You already know the previous trades. One profitable, one loss, here a wonderfully profitable one that hit its take profit. At the same time, I went short here again. The short is still open at the moment because my risk-reward ratio of 1 to 2 hasn't been reached yet. At first, it had a risk-reward of 1 to 16. That's why this short is still open, even though it's currently slightly in the red, as you can see. But unfortunately, the long entry wasn't triggered for me in this case. That's a shame, of course. If it does come after all, then I'll wait here for the next entry, but also at 0.618. As I said, 0.618 still has the large fair value gap, which is exactly in this area here. And I still see the possibility that we might reach that, so I'm still waiting here accordingly. The short position remains open at 0.618, and then we'll see how things develop. XLM. XLM is actually the reason why I said I was unsure whether I should trade 0.5 and 0.618. I think we also mentioned that in the live stream. We had a high here, but then we couldn't surpass it with a new high, and we saw weakness in XLM. And accordingly, I said we have the opportunity to go right into this order block here, and that's what happened yesterday. But for me, since we didn't have a new high, that wasn't a new long entry for me. And I skipped XLM. SUI, on the other hand, was very, very good again. Yes, SUI is working well in every direction at the moment. So SUI and I are really good friends right now. That means a wonderful entry here. You can see that. The stop loss is already at break even. It's still running. After this breakout, we had to the downside. I mentioned it in the video, we had a double bottom here. Nice breakout. For this reason, I now see an opportunity for us to dip in here where we have this volume area. That would be 0.5 or rather 0.618. We've also triggered that, and that's also in profit now. This means for SUI, if we zoom in there, I'm currently hedged in both directions. I have a very profitable short position, but at the same time now a long position as well, both in profit. And honestly, it couldn't be going any better at this point in time. And here I've also activated a trading bot, as you can see, also based on Fibonacci. It currently shows a profit of 109%. But I'll be bringing you all the details soon regarding the trading bots and copying or signal group, with more information coming your way in the near future. Here we have something similar with Chainlink. Here I got stopped out with a stop loss. The short position went incredibly well into profit, and it has now triggered the 0.5 level. Here too I now have a short position in profit and a long position in profit. It picked that up again yesterday. Here as well, I think we might go down again. For this reason, I haven't closed my short position yet, because here too we have a very strong fair value gap. We'll see. A breakout would of course be good, especially if you have a long position in this area that could also go into profit. Here as well, I started this grid trading bot as a test. If we take a look at this is the link bot here, 98% in profit with the entry we had. And we'll see how that develops in the future. Solana is also very nice. Solana didn't hit my stop loss. Here I have an incredibly brilliant short position, as you can see from the old Fibonacci levels. But here I only used the 0.618 as the entry and skipped the 0.5. I mentioned this in the last video. I told you we're currently moving down, and I actually see more potential in using the larger Fibonacci rather than the smaller one. And that was a smart decision because the 0.618 was triggered perfectly, as we can see here. In this area, it didn't quite reach a double bottom, and this position is currently also in profit. So right now, both the Solana short and the long are in profit, and now we'll just see how the market develops in the near future. And by the way, I'd really appreciate it if you subscribed, in case you're new to my channel. There, you'll also find my trading strategy, learn trading step by step to becoming a profitable trader. All the details on how I proceed, and let's hit the next 1,000 subscribers here together. There are just a few more subscribers needed for me to reach the next milestone. So feel free to leave a like and a comment as well. See you next time. Ciao, ciao.